Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you've been struggling to get that realistic skin texture in your digital portraits, you're in the right place. In today's video, I'm going to share 4 essential tips that will help take your skin rendering to the next level. Now, I know how tricky it can be to make skin look smooth and lifelike, especially if you're just starting out, but don't worry, I've got you covered with these easy techniques that will give your portraits that professional touch. Also, just a heads up, I'll be using 2 of my own custom brush packs throughout this video. So my portrait starter pack, which includes all the essential brushes for beginners, and my blending brush pack, which will help you create those flawless transitions and textures. So you can download both packs from the link in the description below. So let's dive in and start enhancing those skin textures. Okay, so we're going to be using one of the digital portraits that I drew just a little while ago as my reference or my example for today in today's video. And I just want you to pay attention to all the details on his face. Just to start off, you can see skin dots, you can see skin texture, you can probably see stubble, and you can likely see, of course, the highlights and the lowlights and the midtones in his face, as well as seeing some other colors rather than just, one flat color. And now I'll show you what one flat color looks like. So this looks super unnatural and honestly a little bit scary, but you can import your photo as a palette as well. So I want you to go to your palette, press the plus button whenever you're using a reference photo and you want to be using the same colors that are in the image. We'll create a palette for you and then you can use those in your drawing rather than guessing and trying to figure it out yourself. So what you can do after this as well is once you have your palette ready to go, what I want you to focus on, or the first tip, is really going to be shading and those highlights. So we'll add it in as a reference photo so we can look at it while we're drawing as well, so you guys can see what I'm looking at while I'm adding in these shadows as well. So what we can do is we can also use our color picker in Procreate. So you'll notice me just holding my finger over his face and I'm actually selecting one of the shadows. But this technique doesn't work the best always because you really are needing to adjust it. It's usually not the right color. But what I'm starting off with in my starter pack is the soft blending brush, just so that I can go ahead and start adding in some shadow. But you can use a multitude of different brushes for this, but I did create this for my students to be able to use this for shading and highlighting, specifically on portraits. So you'll notice here I'm just starting to carve out his face as well, and we're going to start adding in shadow as well as some of those deeper tones that go a bit deeper than the mid-tone I picked onto his face, and then we're going to go ahead and blend them out. I would also recommend having your skin on a separate layer in Procreate. That way you can alpha lock it and then you can shade or add highlights or really anything to the layer without it going outside the lines, which makes it a lot more comfortable in your workflow. But I'm going to go ahead and actually fast forward this part just so that you guys can get the gist of adding in these shadows, and then we'll go ahead and add in some highlights as well. So next is the blending portion. So we have all these colors on his face. Now we want to take our smudger's brush, and you can use my blending brush from my blending brush pack, which is what I use to blend all of my portraits out. And if you struggle with harsh lines, using the smudge tool or a blending brush to create soft transitions is really important. It's all about finding the right balance between, texture and smoothness. And you really want to be light-handed when you're blending this out as well, because you don't want to overblend, because then you're just going to end up with another flat picture. And we want to make sure we keep the colors authentic and the colors intact, essentially. And then you can always add more after if you need to, or blend a little bit more if you need to. But we want to make sure the hard lines are gone, and we want to make sure the color is still there. So it's a fine line to walk on, but you'll definitely get it after some practice. Okay, I added in a little bit more shadows to his face just so you didn't have to watch me pick at it for a little while. But now we're going to go in for the highlights. So I am going to bring up my reference photo again, and I'm going to use the color picker just to pick the lightest part of his face, just to grab the color, and then I'm going to go see if it actually matches the lightest color that we have on our palette that from the image I pulled in earlier, right? And it's pretty similar. Sometimes I need to make it lighter, sometimes I don't, so use your own judgment. But I'm going to go in with the soft blend brush for the highlight portion, and we're going to just focus on the areas where we see highlight. So usually that's the T-zone, the chin, the tip of the nose, under the eye area, and the upper lip as well. Okay, and now tip number 3. Now when we have our highlights and it's all blended and everything looks really great, but it's still flat in the sense that there isn't any detail on the skin, from my blending brush pack, the Org-Tex brush is my favorite brush to create a pore-like effect on the skin. And one of my tips here for this is really just taking this brush and going over the areas of highlight that you've already gone over, and not to a crazy degree or anything. You want to take the brush, you want to make it kind of small, so as you'll notice it's definitely below 50% that I have it there, and then you also want to make sure the opacity is quite low, because if you have it too strong it looks really fake and it does not make the skin look realistic at all. So you can see here, I have a bit of a more tanned color that I'm like showing you kind of the brush there. Hopefully you can see the detail in this video, but it's very minimal and it essentially just replicates pores. But I like to take the brush as a light color, and you can see here that's a little bit too strong. So that's what it looks like if I was just to go over and have it at full opacity. But let's bring this down, and the reason we want to make it a bit smaller is because we don't want the pores to look too crazy or big. We just want it to be very subtle, especially depending on the certain area of the face. Like under the eyes won't have a very strong pore look, but the cheeks would have something a little bit more strong to it, especially the forehead. So the forehead too, when we go to the main part of the forehead, like a bit higher, you'll notice that I actually bring the brush size up here in just a minute, just to give it a bit more of a realistic effect on the forehead, because your forehead's going to have a bit bigger pores than, for example, next to your eyes. And then also on his chin too. So this is also an area that I notice hits a reflective light. So we want to make sure that we're adding a little bit of texture there. So you might be asking, why don't you put this brush all over the face? Well, we only want the pores to be showing in the areas where light is kind of being reflected, because we don't really see a consistent stream of pores across people's face in general. It's usually when light's hitting them in a specific area, and whatnot there. So you want to be a bit selective as to where you're putting this brush, and I recommend doing it over the highlight areas, just so that it can kind of, it's the corners of the brush can, you know, create that pore-like effect around the highlight. And so what I do next is I actually like to use this brush a lot for stubble specifically. So I'll need to make this a little bit darker. So let's go to the black color. Again, we want to have a low opacity, otherwise it's going to be way too strong and just look crazy. Just like that. That's a little bit too much, but now you can see it's almost like a grainy kind of look. And we can even use this as a shadow piece as well. It can be something that we can do to add definition to our drawings too. So you'll see what I mean in just a moment here. Now about blending too, after I've used this brush as like for stubble or for skin texture for pores and things like that, I do take the same brush, the Org-Tex brush, as a smudger's brush, and I will go in and start kind of blending some of the areas too, so it's not too I don't have any hard lines or have too many details that are kind of sticking out too far. Obviously use this as your discretion and what you think would look good, but definitely play around with that. But the next and final tip I have to share with you is adding in those skin dots, and you can grab that brush again from my starter pack, and it's just called Skin Dots. And typically what I like to use this for is adding in freckles, or you know, naturally people have just blemishes or imperfections on their face. So I like to take a dark brown color, and I can play with the opacity, and that can actually change how deep the colors go as well, so I don't have to pick a new one every time. But I use this brush to So that's what it looks like essentially with that size and opacity there. But I like to take it down and I like to play with the size a little bit and add in different types of freckles and skin dots to the face. So I notice on his face specifically, he's got a little bit more of a bunching around the sides of his nose. So I wanted to go in and add those there, and I'll increase the size and the opacity and kind of just add in this texture too around his entire face. Alright, as we're nearing the end of this video, if you found these tips helpful, be sure to grab both my blending brush pack and my starter portrait pack in the description below. They're both perfect for achieving those smooth transitions in your work. So I'd love to hear from you. Which tip are you going to try first? Let me know in the comments below, and happy creating. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this.